ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति 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 सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नामरूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धिर्दृग्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्तवेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यदिति मे निश्चितामपि।
We have seen the answer to the fifth causal factor regarding any adhyasa, which the Purva Pakshi has said, and that was adhishthanasya samanya jnana vishesha ajnana. And there we see that the Siddhanti is accepting that this causal factor is necessary for adhyasa to happen. But Siddhanti is showing that how this particular causal factor is present in case of Bandha Dhyasa on Atma. And where Siddhanti showed with the help of this example of Sushupti that the Ajnana is Chaitanyam, which was as it were divided into two parts, Samanya Chaitanyam and Vishesha Chaitanyam, out of which Samanya Chaitanyam is the one which coexists with Ajnanam. And further it was, and why is it so? Because in the Sushupti we do have the experience of Ajnana. Why do we say so? Because after waking up, there is remembrance of the Ajnanam. And since in the Sushupti Avastha, neither the man nor the Indriyani are in active stage, therefore the experience is only due to this Chaitanyam, which is Samanya Chaitanyam. And since both are there, that means they are not contradictory. Why? Because contradiction means that co-presence will not be there. Thus, it was shown that Samanya Chaitanyam and Ajnana coexist. And with this, it was shown that the Samanya Jnana, the fifth causal factor in case of Anatma Adhyasa on Atma, is fulfilled.
Not fully fulfilled. Purva Pakshi has got two parts of objection.
And now,
what are the two parts, Purva Pakshi?
the two parts is, both of them are regarding this Vishesha Ajnana. Adhishthanasya Vishesha Ajnana. And there the Purva Pakshi had said that the first thing is that Atma is or Brahma is self-evident. Therefore, there is no Ajnanam. And the second is Atma is indivisible. Therefore, there is no Samanya Amsha or Vishesha Amsha in case of Atma.
So we cannot say now that both the objections are related to Vishesha Amsha only. Second is related to both.
Yes. So these were the two objections. And then, with regard to the first objection, that there is no Vishesha Ajnanam, is Jnanam and Atma cannot coexist together, the answer was given. That there is, we can say that Samanya Chaitanyam and Ajnanam are coexisting. The Granthakara now is showing that with this particular intention, that Samanya Chaitanyam and Ajnanam can stay together, in the texts of Vedanta, it is said that the Samanya Chaitanyam is not Ajnana Virodhi, whereas the Vishesha Chaitanyam is Ajnana Virodhi. Vichara then, having introduced this term Samanya Chaitanya and Vishesha Chaitanya, explains both of them. What is it? So he says that indivisible consciousness, which is remaining as all pervasive and which as all as pervading everything, that is called Samanya Chaitanya. Whereas the Vishesha Chaitanya means the consciousness which is conditioned by a particular vritti, means the consciousness which is manifesting through a particular vritti, the thought of the antakaranam, of the mind. That is called Vishesha Chaitanya.
We can use the word associated also, because Avachedavada doesn't talk about beneficence. So the Chaitanyam associated with Antakarana.
So Chaitanya, consciousness which is associated with a particular vritti of the antakaranam, is called Vishesha Chaitanya. And for this, Sri Grankakara gives the example, saying just as there is Samanya Agnihi. What is Samanya Agni? The fire which is present in the firewood but has not been lit up, means is in the unmanifest state. That fire which is still there is not opposed to darkness. Why? Because it does not remove darkness. The fire which is lit up by the rubbing of this fire sticks, and thereby that fire is transported on the wick of the lamp, that fire is opposed to darkness. Means that fire which is on the lamp will remove the darkness.
Therefore, it is Ajnana Virodhi.
Therefore, it is Andhakara Virodhi.
Andhakara Virodhi, not Ajnana. You are right.
And that what is there present on the lamp is called this Vishesh Atmaka Agni. Whereas the one which is present in the firewood in unmanifest state is called Samanya Agni. Similarly, in this case also, the consciousness which is pervading everything, that consciousness which is called Samanya Chaitanya is not Ajnana Virodhi. In fact, it illumines or it makes the Ajnana evident. Whereas the Vishesha Chaitanya, in what kind of Vishesha Chaitanya? The Vishesha Chaitanya which is associated with the Antakarana Vritti, which is and
Which is in keeping with.
which is in keeping with this Akhanda Brahma, indivisible consciousness or Brahma, and that consciousness which is Sakshatkaratma, which is having or which is directly evident,
Which is of the nature of immediate knowledge. Sakshatkara means aparokshita.
so that consciousness which is of the nature of being,
That consciousness, the Akhanda, all these adjectives are for Antakarana Vritti. Chaitanyam, which is associated with the Antakarana Vritti, which is in keeping with Akhanda Brahma, and which Antakarana Vritti is Sakshatkaratmaka. It is Sakshatkaratmaka Akhanda Brahma, it is not. Antakarana Vritti, which is in the form of Aparoksha Dana. Sakshatkara means Aparoksha Dana. In Akhanda, I had given the option. Akhanda can go with Brahma, it can go with. But for the Sakshatkara, we don't say. Even though that type of expression is there sometimes, but here it is not so.
so what is Vishesha Chaitanya, which is Ajnana Virodhi? So the Ajnana Virodhi is the consciousness which is associated with the Antakarana Vritti, and that Antakarana Vritti which Brahma and which is of the nature of being directly evident.
Yeah, direct knowledge.
Yes.
Sakshatkara brings the idea of knowledge. Aparokshadhan.
Of the nature of being direct knowledge, and that vritti which is born of Vedanta Pramana, and that Vedanta Pramana which is analyzed with the help of a teacher. So by this, what is told is that the consciousness which is associated with the vritti, that I am Brahma, and that is born of this Vedanta Pramana which is analyzed, that is opposed to Ajnanam. If that particular Jnanam is opposed to Ajnanam, and the Chaitanya associated with that kind of vritti is opposed to Ajnanam, whereas not the Samanya Chaitanya. Okay. Therefore, yes, and thus the Granthakara shows what is this Vishesha Chaitanya which is opposed to Ajnanam. And then he makes a note and he says that this Vishesha Chaitanya can be told in two different ways. One is this Vrutya Runam Chaitanya is the consciousness which is associated with the vritti, or Chaitanya Vishishta Vrittihi, or the thought which is endowed with consciousness. And both of these are Ajnana Virodhi. But what is the difference between the first one and the second one? In the first one, the Chaitanya is the predominant in being Ajnana Virodhi, whereas the vritti is Sahagari. And in the second option, the vritti is predominant in being Ajnana Virodhi, which is the main factor. And the Chaitanya is Sahagari, supportive. And he says that in this manner it is told in the Avacheda Vada. And here the Tippanikara says that even though in Avacheda Vada two ways this Ajnana Virodhi Vishesha Chaitanya is told, but still in that also we can say that the second way is better. And for that we give the reason. The reason is that vritti is the main factor for removal of ignorance. Why? Because consciousness is always there. Only the vritti is born. And therefore vritti gets the status of being the main factor. And since that is so, therefore it is better to say that this Vishesha Chaitanya is Chaitanya Vishishta Vrittihi. And that is Ajnana Virodhi.
So finally, it was said that Vishesha Chaitanyam is Ajnana Virodhi. Means Chaitanyam associated with a particular vritti called Brahmakara vritti, Sakshatkara. Chaitanya associated with that Sakshatkara is Ajnana Virodhi. And here he said two ways it can be said that Chaitanya Sahita Vritti or Vritti Sahita Chaitanyam are the Ajnana Virodhi. And only the status of being the main and the assistant will be changed. But both of them all will be required. Idam tu avacheda vada ritya uttam. And this was told following the mode, the method of avacheda vada. Avacheda means conditioning. So the view which is talking about the Upadhi as a conditioning factor for Chaitanya, explaining how one Brahma becomes or appears as many Jiva. For that, different models are there, three models are there: Avachedavada, Pratibimbavada, Abhasavada. And in Avachedavada, it is said that one limitless consciousness is as though conditioned by the antakarana upadhi, and that conditioned consciousness is jiva. And since conditioning factors are many, therefore conditioned consciousness appear to be many. And therefore, one consciousness, Brahman, appears as many jiva. This view is called Avachedavada. And here the explanation given is based on Avachedavada. Now, he said, Abhasavada Ritya, what will be said? In Avachedavada, it is said, Chaitanya Vishishta Vritti or Vritti Vishishta Chaitanyam is Agdana Virodhi. In Abhasavada, what is said? Abhasavada Ritya tu Samanya Chaitanyavat Vishesha Chaitanyam api na Agdana Virodhi. Kintu Vritti Sahita Abhasaha va Abhasa Sahita Vrittihi va Agdana Virodhitaya Uchyate. Abhasavada is the Vada. Vada means a view. The view of presenting Abhasa is called Abhasavada. So they say that Jivas are the Abhasa of Chaitanya. So Jivas are not conditioned by Upadhi. Jivas are not conditioned consciousness, but Jiva is the Abhasa of consciousness. What is Abhasa? Abhasate. Chidvat Abhasate iti Abhasaha. Otherwise called Chidabhasaha. That which appears like consciousness is called Abhasaha. Resemblance, manifestation. So manifestation of consciousness in Upadhi, particular Upadhi, is called Abhasa. And consciousness is one, which is called Brahma. But since Upadhis are many, therefore we have got many Abhasa. Many Antakranas are there, therefore many manifestations called Abhasa are there. And that is how we can explain one Brahma appearing as many Jivas. One Brahman appears as many Abhasa. And Abhasa is the definition of Jiva essentially. Therefore, one Brahma appears as many Jiva means one Brahma manifests as many Abhasa. This is called Abhasavada. So all three are primarily meant to explain how one limitless consciousness can appear as many limited Jivas. So this is what is Abhasavada. And Abhavasvada Ritya, by the model of Abhasavada or by the method of Abhasavada too, however, Samanya Chaitanyavad Vishesha Chaitanyam api na Agdana Virodhi. So consciousness which is general in nature, Samanya Chaitanyam, is not Agdana Virodhi, and Vishesha Chaitanyam, consciousness conditioned by this Upadhi, that also is not Agdana Virodhi. So simply by being conditioned, consciousness cannot be responsible for removing Agdana. What they say, responsible for Agdana Nivritti, Kintu Vritti Sahita Abhasaha or Abhasa Sahita Vrittihi. The Abhasa, the resemblance of consciousness or resembling manifestation of consciousness along with the thought, or the thought along with this resemblance is Agdana Virodhitaya Uchyate, is mentioned as opposite to Agdana. This is only Prakriya Veda. And what this Abhasavada is saying, that Vishesha Chaitanyam also is Nirvikara, and therefore it cannot do any job. And therefore we have to say that Abhasa of Chaitanyam, which can be Vikari, alone can remove Ajnana. So neither Samanya Chaitanyam means Vyapaka Chaitanyam, nor Vishesha Chaitanyam means Vritti Avachinna Chaitanyam, but only Abhasa of Chaitanyam, resembling manifestation of consciousness alone is Ajnana Virodhi. Alright. This is incidental note. That is nothing to do with the main discussion. Main discussion is what? How Ajnanam can be there in Atma. How can Ajnana coexist with Atma? And if Ajnanam does not coexist, then Vishesha Ajnanam, which is a requirement for Adhyasa, will not be fulfilled. For that answer is given that consciousness, Swarupa Chaitanyam, Samanya Chaitanyam can coexist with Ajnana. Ekam Shuddha Swayam Prakasha Swarupa Chaitanyam na Ajnana Virodhi. Now is concluding this topic. In this manner, pure consciousness, which is Swarupa, which is the nature of Atma, which is self-evident, that Swarupa Chaitanyam, Ajnana Virodhi na, is not opposite to Ajnana. In fact, we can appreciate this with a simple thing. If I ask you now, what is there in my pocket? So you say, I don't know. You have ignorance. Now, do you know your ignorance or not? And you can know ignorance only when consciousness is there. So your ignorance of what is there in my pocket and consciousness are coexisting. तो हमको सुषुप्ति तक भी जाने की जरूरत नहीं. We need not go up to that. Now also you have got ignorance of so many things. What is the 735 Sutra? Do you remember? So sometimes you not remember him, sometimes even ignorance. So ignorance and the consciousness are coexisting. Now also coexisting. So it can coexist. Tataha cha Ajnanam Swarupa Chaitanyam eva ashritya vartate. So Samanya Chaitanyam and Ajnanam can coexist. Only Vishesha Chaitanyam. Now if I say that in my pocket, suppose something is there. Some flower, dried flower is there. So now you have got the knowledge, the vritti, dry flower, Shushka Pushpakara vritti. The Shushka Pushpakara vritti sahita Chaitanyam and the ignorance of what is there in the pocket, they cannot coexist. Samanya Chaitanyam can coexist. That's what is we have understood. Tatahacha. So Ajnanam and Atma Swarupa Chaitanyam can coexist. Now question is, where will this Ajnanam stay? So Ajnanam, what will be the what will be the locus? So he says that Tatahacha, and therefore means since Swarupa Chaitanyam is not Ajnana Virodhi, therefore Ajnanam Swarupa Chaitanyam Ashritya Vartate. It remains resorting to Swarupa Chaitanyam, the Chaitanyam which is the Swarupa. So ignorance remains resorting to, abiding this Chaitanyam which is the Swarupa. So not only Swarupa Chaitanyam is not opposite to Ajnanam, in fact it is the Ashraya Data. It is the giver of support. Why? Because Ajnanam can remain where it is, which is not Ajnana Karyam. And so Ajnana Akaryam alone can be the locus. And therefore Ajnana Akaryam Swarupa Chaitanyam is the Ashraya of Ajnanam. Alright. And therefore in our Siddhanta it is said Ashrayatva Vishayatva Vibhagini Chitireva Kevala. So Chaitanyam alone is the Ashraya and Vishaya of Ajnana. What is the object of ignorance? Consciousness. What is the Ashraya of the Ajnanam? consciousness. How is it possible? In Shastra we give one example. Suppose there is a darkness in this hall. So this darkness is, where is it? Darkness is in the hall. And what does it cover? It covers the hall. So Ajnanam the Prakoshtham Ashritya Prakoshtham Avrunoti Andhakaraha. Darkness is covering this room and remains in the room. Similarly, Ajnanam is covering, as it were, this Chaitanyam and it remains in Chaitanyam. And it cannot remain as another entity because Neha Nanasti Kinchana, and therefore it is Mithya. And being Mithya, it is superimposed. Therefore, Ajnana Dhyasaha, Karana Dhyasa is possible. Alright. And thus, Ajnanam is possible, means Ajnana, and therefore Ajnana Dhyasa is possible. And when Ajnana Dhyasa is there, then this Bandha Dhyasa is possible. Tena Ajnanena Avrute Atmani Bandha Dhyasaha Yujyate Eva. Tena Ajnanena, by that Ajnanam, which is staying, resorting to Chaitanyam, by that Ajnanam, Avrute Atmani, the self which is covered. On the self which is covered by that Ajnanam, which is resorting to Atma, on that Atma, Bandhadhyasaha, the superimposition of the bondage. And what is the bondage? Dvaitam, Anatma is the bondage. So the superimposition of the bondage in the form of Anatma, Yujyate Eva, is definitely tenable, definitely possible. So on the self covered by that ignorance, the superimposition of bondage in the form of Anatma is definitely possible. Alright. So long discussion, just to put the answer, the first part of the objection. First part was Ajnanam is not possible in Atma, like darkness is not possible in the sun. For that answer is given that Swarupa Chaitanyam is Ajnana Virodhi, it can coexist. So first part of the Purva Paksha is answered. Now second. The second objection was that in Atma Samanya Vishesha Bhava itself is not there. Then the fifth, or Tippani. Tippani, yes. Let us complete the Tippani first. Prachanda Prakashe. See, this is a Tippani on Tatahacha. So, some people may say that, but what happened to my example? That in the sun darkness cannot be there. Very strong example I gave. उसका तो कुछ जवाब ही नहीं दिया. So that's why he said, Prachanda Prakashe Surye तमोवत् स्वयं प्रकाशात्म चैतन्ये अज्ञान संसर्गः कथं घटेत इति आक्षेपः न युक्तः. प्रचंड प्रकाशे सूर्ये तमोवत्, like the darkness in the sun which is intensely bright or which is of the nature of intense light, bright light. So how can there be darkness in the sun which is of the nature of bright light? Similarly, Swayam Prakashatma Chaitanya Ajnana Samsarga Katham Gateta. Just as darkness is not possible in the bright sun, similarly the association of ignorance in the consciousness which is the nature of the self-evident self. How Ajnana Samsargam, association of ignorance Ghateta, will be possible? How can there be association of ignorance in Swayam Prakashatma? Iti akshepaha. This type of objection, na yuktaha, is not proper. Siddhanta is telling. Why? Vishamaha drishtantaha. The example is dissimilar. Means drishtantasya drishtantatvam nasti. The drishtanta should be samaha. Similar, you are giving Vishama Drishtanta. So it is something like that somebody says, the Manushya should be flying because they are living beings like Devatas or like birds. Vishama Drishtanta. So your example is Vishama. Why? He says, Suryadi Jyotimshi Mahatejasaha Vishesha Rupini. The luminaries like the sun, etc., are Vishesha Rupani, are the specific forms of the great elements called fire. Natu Samanya Rupani. They are not the general forms. Suryadi Jyotish are not the general form of Agni, fire. And Atmanaha Swarupa Chaitanyam tu Samanya Prakasha eva. Whereas the consciousness, which is the nature of Atma, is general light. Na etad agnana virodhi. And that is not opposed to ignorance. Tasmat Suryadi Drishtantaha atra na samanjasaha. Therefore, the example of the sun is not proper. Samanjasaha means samyak anjaha auchityam yatra. Samanjasa, proper. So, you gave the example of Vishesha Prakasha. And Siddhante, what is Ajnana Avirodhi is Samanya Prakasha. Therefore, you should give the Samanya Prakasha example. You give the example which is light in general. You are giving the Vishesha Prakasha example. Therefore, it is not proper example. And also we say that, see, from the standpoint of experiencer, even there is darkness in the sun. We say, today the sun is covered. We say, when clouds are there, it is covered. So clouds are possible. And cloud becomes the covering factors. So, experience from the standpoint of the onlooker, this darkness-like situation is possible even with reference to the sun. That is another way of giving the answer. Alright. Now the next khanda is giving the answer to the second objection. And second objection he himself reminds because he expects that we might not remember. So he himself will explain. So first the title. Atma samanyataha gnataha visheshataha agnataha cha. Atma is known in general but not known specifically. This is what generally we say. Atma is known as I am, but Atma is not known as I am Brahma. This is a simple way of explaining this. I am is Atma only. So Atma is evident. But evident as what? I am. Not evident as Brahma. Samanyataha gnataha visheshataha gnataha. In fact, it is samanyataha gnataha, therefore we are inquiring. See, any thing can be object of inquiry only when samanyataha gnataha. There may be some particular element in some galaxy, some planet. It doesn't become object of our inquiry. Why? Samanyata itself is not gnata. When Samanyata gnata and Visheshata gnata, if Visheshata also gnata, we don't have inquiry. Now we don't have inquiry whether the shape of the earth is flat or the square or round. We don't have. Whether it is flat or round, no inquiry. We already done. About that, how many radius is there and every radius is uniform, all this inquiry can be there if it is not done. But whether earlier that also so many years must have passed. that whether it is flat or it is round. Some people believe it is flat only. So that is how. So samanyatah gnata and visheshata agnata, then only atma vichara is possible. So our siddhanta is samanyatah gnata visheshata agnata. But Purvapakshi is saying that you are contradicting your siddhanta. Your siddhanta is what? Atma is akhanda, indivisible. An indivisible Atma, how can it have one Samanya Amsha? Amsha and Vishesha Amsha. Amsha is part. For that Siddhanta will give explanation. Yes, you are very, Siddhanta will say, you are very much, very staunch supporter of Akhanda Brahma. We are very happy that you have more, seems to be more nishtha than me in Akhanda Brahma. Very good. But from the standpoint of this experience of an ignorant person, we can have division. Experiential division is there. Factual division is not there. An experiential division is good enough to explain away this adhyasa. Like factual sunrise is not there. Factual sunset is not there. But experiential sunrise is there. Experiential sunset is there, which is good enough to make the difference of day and night. To explain away the day and night, to explain away this Rashi, this Muhurta, etc. All these are possible based on the acceptance of the sunrise, sunset, Hora, all this possible. Similarly, experientially speaking, especially the experience of Ajnani, Samanya Vishesha Amsha can be explained. That is going to be the answer. So first, there is a restatement of Purvapaksha. Yattu Uttam, and what was told, Purvapakshina, what? Samanyatah Gnate, Visheshatah Agnateva Vastuni Adhyasa Jayeta. With regard to Vastu, with regard to a thing which is Samanyatah Gnata, which is known in general, Visheshata Agnata, which is not known or unknown specifically. With regard to that thing alone, Adhyasa Jayeta, mistake will be born, Adhyasa will be born. Like what? Rajju is Samanyata Gnata, Idam. Idam Amsha is Samanya. But this is rope. That Vishesh Amsha is not Gnata. So Adhyasa Jayate. So with regard to the thing which is known in general and unknown specifically alone, Adhyasa Jayata. Adhyasa will be born. Samanya Vishesha Dharma Bhavat Nirvisheshe Atmani Gnatatva Agnatatva Vyapadeshaha Adhyasaha cha Naiva Sambhavati iti yaduktam. Atmani, which is Samanya Vishesha Dharma Bhavat. Since there is absence of the general quality and specific qualities in Nirvishesha Atma, in this division-less Atma, specification-less Atma, Gnatatva Agnatatva Vyapadesha. The mention of something, some part is known, some part is unknown. That type of Vyapadesha, Kathanam, mention, and Adhyasaha cha Naiva Sambhavati, and thereby Adhyasa is not possible, definitely not possible. So two things. So Atma is Samanya, not two things, this chain is explained. Samanya Vishesha Dharma Bhava is there because Atma is Nirvishesha. And since Atma is Nirvishesha, therefore Gnatatva Amsha and Agnatatva Amsha of Atma cannot be talked about. And thereby Adhyasa, which is dependent upon this requirement of the Adhishtanam being Samanyatah Gnata and Visheshata Agnata, that condition is not fulfilled. Therefore, adhyasasya deva sambhavati. Is it clear? Natatva, Agnatatva, Vyapadesha is not possible about Atma. Atmani means with regard to Atma, this Vyapadesha is not possible and therefore Adhyasa is not possible. Iti yaduktam tan nirasyate. That is being dismissed now in the following paragraph. Ayam aham asmi iti atma stitvanubhava bhavaha tavat sarvaloka prasiddha. This is me. Ayam aham asmi. This is me. In this manner, anubhava, the experience of astitva of Atma, existence of Atma. I am. Am is what? Existence. So, experience of the Atma, existence of Atma is sarvaloka prasiddha, is well known in the entire world or well known to all people. Tavat means first of all. So Siddhanta says, first of all, let us accept this. Let us draw our attention to this fact that experience of existence of Atma is always there. If somebody asks you, are you there? So you say, I am there. In fact, are you there has got different meaning. Are you there means, are you mentally there? तो कोई बोलते है ही नहीं तो क्या है? So I am not there. I am not there is not possible. So we'll ask that. I am not there. Do you know that I am not? You are not there. Yes, Swamiji, I know I am not there. So you are there. To know that you are not there. To say you are not there. Not that to know. To say you are not there, you are there. Like somebody says, no, that I am sleeping now. So you ask, are you sleeping? Yes, says I am sleeping. It means he is not sleeping. So similarly, if you say I am not there, that is not a correct thing. To say I am not there, you have to be there. Therefore, I am not there is not an experience of anyone. Atma astitvanubhavaha is sarvaloka prasiddha. And Atma hi nama swaswarupameva. Atma means one's own true nature. Means what really one is called Atma. So one's true nature is called Atma. And na ahamasmi iti kaha api kopi pratyeti. Nobody experiences what na ahamasmi, I am not there. But here we have to tell normal person. Some people are abnormal, they will say, Swamiji, I experienced that, I am not there. If somebody told me in Rishikesh that, Swamiji, I experienced that, I was not there. What? So, one is normal person, thinking person, he will not say that I am not there. You can say, I am not there on this date in this place, you can say. Swamiji, are you there on, what is called, 30th June in ashram? Yeah, I am not there. I can say, I am not there, but where? I am not there here. Not that I am not there at all. Ahamasmi na kopi pratyeti. Right now I am asking, are you there? Yes. Nobody will say I am not there. Even if he says I am not there, he is indicating he is there. Na nahamasmi iti kopi pratyeti. Kintu ahamasmi iti eva sarvaha pratyeti. So everybody experiences, knows, cognizes what? Ahamasmi, I am there. Iti eva, in this manner alone, everybody cognizes. Ataha atmanam, the atmanam is there, no? Atmanam sadrupena samanyata. Samanyata is there, no? Samanyataha vijanati lokaha. Therefore, people know this self sadrupena as existence. Samanyataha, in general. So sadrupena is further predicated samanyata. Everybody knows the Atma in general as existence, in the form of existence. Parantu, but na kopi prajnanaganaha akhandananda swarupaha vyapakaha nityashuddhaha nityamuktaha cha aham iti vishesha rupena atmanam janati. Here kopi means ajnani. Kopi ajnani who is not exposed to Vedanta. Parantu, but anyone who is not exposed to Vedanta, vishesha rupena atmanam na janati, does not know the self specifically. And what do we mean specifically? In this manner. Prajnana ghanaha aham. I am pure consciousness or homogeneous mass of consciousness. Nobody says. Akhandananda swarupaha. I am of the nature of indivisible fullness. After listening to Vedanta also people say, Swamiji, I am not sure I am consciousness. Consciousness is not clear. After listening to Vedanta, then what to talk about before listening to Vedanta? Akhandananda Swarupaha. I am Ananda Swarupa, nobody says. After listening to Vedanta also difficult. So what to talk about before Vedanta? Vyapakaha, bigger problem. Somebody asked me recently, he said, Swamiji, I am Satchidananda is okay, but I am all pervasive and I am the Sakshi of all the minds. Will it be a matter of experience or only cognition? So people have this one of the big issues people have this. Swamiji, I can understand I am Satchidananda, but I am everywhere. That I am not experiencing or that I am not able to understand. Why we don't understand? Because you are keeping your consciousness only limited to this body. Your understanding of consciousness is not correct. You lip service, you say consciousness is all pervasive. I am consciousness. So you should be all pervasive. We ask them, if somebody says like this, do you accept that consciousness is all pervasive? Yes. Consciousness is all pervasive. Then you are consciousness? Yes. So you are all pervasive. नहीं sir, but लगता नहीं है sir. Feeling is not. Feeling doesn't come. So most even that's what he talks about. Generally he is talking about ignorant person. But even after study vyapakaha is na janati. Nitya shuddhaha. I am ever pure. It's not that easy. People have got great what is called guilt about so many things. I have this impurity, that impurity. पता नहीं मेरा तो कोई उधार हो ही सकता है. Whether it is possible like that. So Nitya Shuddha, I am pure. Impurity cannot touch me. Could never come to me. That doesn't happen. Na janati. Nitya Muktaha, another big all these big bombs he is giving. So Nitya Muktaha, I am ever free. Nothing is to be done for freedom. Freedom is a fact about myself. Iti Nitya Mukta Chamiti Vishesha Rupena Atmanam Na Kopi Janati. Anyone does not know oneself in this manner. Vishesha Rupena. Samanya, yes, I am. In this manner everybody knows. But I am this Prajnanagana, etc. is not there. Not only right understanding, right specific understanding is not there. Opposite understanding is there. Not only specific right understanding is there, but specific wrong understanding is there. Or wrong specific understanding is there. That I am Karta, Bhokta, I am Janmavan, Maranavan. So opposite is there. Tasmat Chidanandadi Lakshana Lakshitatvena Visheshataha Atma Na Vignayate. Therefore, we can make a conclusion from this observation that Visheshataha specifically means what? Chidanandadi Lakshana Lakshitatvena, as indicated by the characteristics or defined by the characteristics or the nature of consciousness Ananda. In this manner, Atma na Vignayate. Atma is not known. Atma is not specifically known as defined by the Swarupa Lakshana, the defining characteristics which are the nature of Atma, such as Chit consciousness Ananda. fullness. Means Atma is not specifically known. And specifically not known means Atma is not known as the one which is of the nature of consciousness and Ananda. Sometimes consciousness also is brought in the Samanya. But here Granthakara consciousness also puts in Vishesha only. Why? The reason is that person, if you ask any common man, are you conscious? Nobody will say yes. But are you existent? Yes. He will say. Therefore, this consciousness also is doubtful and therefore he has put it in Vishesha. But sometimes in some explanation, the consciousness is put in the Samanya Amsha. Because what is meant by consciousness, if I explain, then he will say yes, yes, yes. It is something like, you give the medical name of some disease. Do you have that? No, I don't have. But if you say it means the backache, that is the or stomach ache, So the stomach ache will have a different name. What is called the stomach problem? What is the stomach specialist called? Gastro. You have got gastro problem, suppose I ask. No, Swamiji, gas ka koi problem hai. Gastro and what is gastro and Gastro intestine.
Both are like together.
But no, I am talking about the problem. Gastroenteritis, something is there. There is a gastro, something itis is there.
Itis is like
pain problem. Pain, no?
Common suffix for common suffix. It's a suffix. Itis is a suffix.
Suffix for any problem, no?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think gastroenteritis something is there. So if you ask the person, you have this, I don't have, gas का problem नहीं है. पेट में बहुत दर्द होता है. स्टमक आई हैव गॉट प्रॉब्लम, गैस प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. ये खाली स्टमक में ये जो खाने के बाद है ना, वो थोड़ा दर्द होता है. So this is how it happens. Therefore consciousness is not put in the samanya, because otherwise that question will be there. Okay. Kintu, but samanyatah satsvarupena gnayate eva. So Atma is not known specifically as Chidananda, but Atma is known definitely, samanyatah, in general, as consciousness, as existence, or as existent, at least. At existence or existent, it is known. Idam cha sarvanubhava siddham. And this is established by the experience of all. What? That Atma is samanyataha, as existence is existent or existence, it is known, but not known as consciousness and ananda. Nacha idam kevala yuktya apannotum shakyate. So this idea what we have presented, that Atma is samanyataha gnataha and visheshata agnataha, is established through the experience of everybody. And therefore, idam, this what we have mentioned so far, that Atma is samanyatah gnata and visheshata gnata, this part, kevala yuktya, by mere logic, apannotum, dismiss, na shakyate, is not possible. It is there. You ask, people know that yes, I am. So Sat Swarupa is known, but Chidananda Swarupa is not known. Okay. Now this Samanya and Vishesha, Samanya Swarupa of Atma and Vishesha Swarupa of Atma, that needs to be analyzed. Because generally Samanya and Vishesha is used in this way. Samanya means that which is all pervasive. Vishesha means which is not all pervasive. It is available only in specific situation. Like Samanya Agni is all pervasive in the wood, all the woods. But Vishesha Agni is not all pervasive. So Samanya will be all pervasive. Vishesha will be pervasive in a limited area. Now if you say that existence is samanyam, then existence should be all pervasive. and consciousness and Ananda should be less pervasive. Then only they can be Vishesha. Is it clear? Consciousness and Ananda, if you are calling them as Vishesha, then it should be less pervasive. But that should not be correct, because Swarupa of Atma only. So, just as existence being the Swarupa of Atma all pervasive, the consciousness and Ananda being Swarupa of Atma, it should be all pervasive. Atma is all pervasive, therefore Swarupa is all pervasive. So how can you say that Sat is Samanya Rupam, Swarupam, and this Chid and Ananda is Vishesha Swarupam? Swarupa should be uniformly present everywhere. So this problem is there, which he handles in a particular way, which we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.